Hello and welcome. My name's Vicki Haspels. I'm the Conscious Mystic, and welcome to Soul Purpose Coaching. This is for week commencing August 7th, 2023. I've done the weekly forecast and we are going to also do a healing as well. We are looking at the energy of the week at a deeper level, at a soul level. So while the cards show us how we're behaving and reacting and some of the influences around us, we are going to look at how this is affecting us within. How is it changing us, and how is it shifting us and challenging us and asking us to be a better version of ourselves. This week is all about the power of the mind, how the mind creates our reality, how the mind perceives our circumstances, and what things it tells us, and how is it influencing our decisions and our choices. The deep wound that sits within, that is being activated, the bruise that is being activated, the emotional bruise, is one of humiliation. So this week we will experience that sense of guilt and shame that comes with what we perceive. Remember, it's about the psychological side of us. What we perceive other people are thinking about us. It is a chance and an opportunity to allow that bruise to play out so that we can understand how we are using our perception of those external influences to influence our way forward. Once we understand it and recognize it, we can then work with it to improve our life so that we are not giving away energy to something that doesn't make any sense. We will start to make sense of why this is happening. Much of this influence around us is tapping into our feeling unloved. Where is it that we are feeling less than? And you'll see that reflected in the weekly forecast. There's a lot of that about self-love, self-awareness, and building up self-esteem. Where is it that we are looking outside of ourselves for love, and where is it that we are not giving it to ourselves? There'll be a keen sense of feeling unloved or lack of love this week. We will have a sense of confusion around what all this means for us. We will feel isolated, and I say the only way that we can cope with that is to also isolate ourselves. Now that might be only a temporary isolation, so expect a feeling of wanting to be away from crowds, wanting to be away from people, because we need time to sort it out. We need our mind to have some clarity or some space to actually think, so that we can hear only our own thoughts and understand where they're coming from. This week we'll see where we feel we must sacrifice ourselves in order to solicit love or elicit love from those around us. Whether it's family, work colleagues, whether it is just the person at the supermarket, we are looking for constant love and acceptance simply by thinking that we must sacrifice ourselves and sacrifice our well-being in order to feel safe and secure in our world. So whenever we do that, a little part of us dies inside. We are now reclaiming ourself, who we are, and what we know about ourselves this week. We are going to use the experiences and use the energy of the cards and the guidance to help build up that part of us that is going to bring our true selves to the surface. The part of us that we know who we are, that is now ready and willing to speak up and say, hey, I actually want it this way. We're building boundaries, we're strengthening our communication, and we are understanding that we are only going to surround ourselves with those that we love, who love us and support us, and those that are taking from us and taking us from us without asking, but also to undermining who we are and tapping into and humiliating us, or that feeling of humiliation. We are now going to let go, release them from our energy field, and only bring close those that support us, because we are now strongly supporting ourselves. So how can we support ourselves during this week in order to show support to ourselves while we are going through the process of connecting to that deeper part of our soul and acknowledging where we let ourselves down a little bit by compromising ourselves and trying to be everything to everybody? It is a really good idea. I think these are just some hints and tips, is to go and find something that you're good at and to start to improve that. Do that on a regular basis because you know you're good at it. Another thing that we can do for ourselves is to try something and be a little bit adventurous and daring. And this allows us to be amazed by our prowess, our strength, and our courage. Nothing dangerous, by the way. Just find something that you thought, I've always wanted to try that. And be brave and courageous and go out and do it. Challenge yourself. And that's really a good way to say, you know what? I'm actually pretty good. And we're learning to praise ourselves and acknowledge actually how amazing we are without external validation, because we're seeing it for ourselves first. And finally, something else that we could try is to find a group of like-minded people, whether it's like singing in a choir, whether it's going out and finding some like-minded people that of shared interest, like a meditation group, or even finding a spiritualist church if that's your thing. Something that aligns with your beliefs, your values, but you'll know that it's a community that supports and that you have a rapport with. Because when we find like-minded people, we actually understand that we're not actually that isolated. We actually do have, there are other people out there that think like me, that feel like me, that look like me. And when we have that sense of community, we feel less embarrassed about who we are, and we actually think we recognize that the specialness and we want to be that person, and we start to nurture that belief, when we start to nurture that true self of who we are. And when we do that, and when we accept it and start to live it, nothing can stop us. My name is Vicki Haspels. I'm the Conscious Mystic. Much love from me. Mwah.